I want to invite you into a spirit of meditation with these words by Gordon McKeeman. How does one address a mystery? Cautiously. Let us go cautiously then to the end of our certainty, to the boundary of all we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the perimeter of the unknown which surrounds us. Reverently, let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful holy whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistence splits concrete with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and every moment. Hopefully, out of our need for wholeness in our own lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of the timeless with time. Quietly, for no words will explain the inarticulate or summon the presence that is always present even in our absence. But what shall I say? Anything, any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of being addressed to being itself, or perhaps nothing, no complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing or not knowing. Simply to be in the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadorned, unafraid. And at the end, say Amen. I invite you into a few moments of silent contemplation. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. Now is the time to call on the memories of the ancestors who thought they could not walk another step toward freedom, and yet they did. It is that time to call on the memories of the ancestors who, when the darkness of their lives threatened to take away the hope and the light, reached a little deeper and prayed yet another prayer. It is that time and place to remember those who came through the long night to witness another sunrise. It is that time and place to remember the oceans of tears shed to deliver us to this time, to remember the bent knees and the backs, to remember the fervent voices asking. Time to remember their laughter and joy, though they had less and little reason for optimism, yet they stayed on the path toward a better day. It's time to hold the steadfast hands and hearts and prayers of the ancestors who brought us this far. Time to make them proud and show them and ourselves what we are made of. Time to show them their prayers and sacrifices and lives were not in vain and did not go unnoticed, nor have they been forgotten. Did you not know this day would come? Did you not know that we would have to change places? Did you not know that just as our ancestors were delivered, that you would also be delivered? Have you not seen the greatness and power of the creative energy in the universe called God that moves and has its being through human agency? Have you not seen God in your neighbor's faces, in the homeless, the undocumented worker, the dispossessed? It is that time and that place to know that it is our turn and that we must leave a legacy for our children and all the children. It is that time and that place. We're the ones we've been waiting for. And for that, let's be eternally grateful. Amen. Blessed be. Okay, I invite you to join me in hymn number 394. You can find the words and the music in your hymnal. The words are up here. We're going to go through the Hebrew first, and then the English is the next slide. Do you want to play it through once first? And now, without further ado, time has come for our main attraction, and I would like to invite the cast and crew of the Latke who couldn't stop screaming to come forward.
This story ends in someone's mouth, but it begins in a tiny village more or less covered in snow. The snow had fallen during the long night, during which children had pressed their faces to the windows, looking for a glimpse of a man who they suspected of bringing them wonderful gifts. But instead they heard a terrible noise from a certain cottage in the neighboring arrondissement, a word which here means place where something was being born.
This cottage was already being regarded with some suspicion, as it was the only place not decorated with flashing colored lights at this time of the year.
The thing that was being born was a latke, a word which here means potato pancake. Latkes are a traditional part of the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating a miraculous Jewish military victory.
Nearly everything in this world is born screaming. The latke was no exception, even though the latke wasn't conceived and born the way you and I were born and conceived, but instead it was fashioned from grated potatoes, chopped onions, beaten eggs, and a dash or two of salt.
Once these ingredients were properly mixed, the latke was slapped into a pan full of olive oil, heated to a very high temperature.
And this is where it began to scream.
The latke was suffering so much that it leapt out of the hot pan and out of the window of the cottage and began to run screaming down the boulevard.
This may seem like unusual behavior for a potato pancake, but this is a Hanukkah story and things which tend to happen that would never occur in real life.
The latke ran past a row of flashing colored lights which hung from the rain gutters of a less suspicious cottage.
Ruckus. We're the ones who are supposed to be dominating the neighborhood with our cheerful glow.
I was just thrown into a pan of boiling oil. Can you believe it?
Yes, but we can't imagine why.
Because I'm a lucky. The olive oil reminds us of the oil used to rededicate the temple following the defeat of Antiochus at the hands of Maccabees. The oil was only supposed to last for one night. That is, it was a miracle, and it lasted for 8.
Oh, so you hash brown.
Somebody should. Maybe you should be served alongside of
Miss Hannah.
I am not hash browns. I am something completely different.
The latke rounded the corner and found itself face to face with a candy cane, in which its wrinkled red and white nose at the latke in the distance.
Trying to sprinkle the night air with my peppermint smell. Your mouth-watering smell, not to mention all the yelping going.
My mouth-watering smell is part of the cozy feeling of Hanukkah. It reminds us that the things of Bethlehem 125 BCE, when my people were not allowed to practice their religion. In order to study the Torah, they had tied down caves when their Greek soldiers approached. They had pretended to gather with a small spinning top called a griddle.
Sort of like Joseph and Mary hiding out in the manger. Someone should write the Christmas carol and help me.
I am not a part of Christmas. It's a completely different thing.
The screams of the latke grew quieter and quieter as the pancake ran out of the village and into the surrounding forest. Its utter fury was unabated, a phrase which here means the latke was still very annoyed at the objects to whom it had spoken. But it was quite tired, and so it decided to rest for a few minutes beneath the branches of a little pine tree.
The pine tree was napping, but woke up to the sound of an object plopping down at its feet.
Are you a present? Presents are pretty much the only thing that's allowed to sit beneath you during this time of year.
This is not really a big part of Hanukkah. Nothing honestly exists. What's more important to light the candles for the 8 nights that mourn the miracle of the
plus Santa Claus.
The Latka was too exhausted to scream.
Santa Claus has nothing to do with it. Christmas and Hanukkah are completely different things.
But different things can often blend together. Let me tell you a funny story about pagan rituals.
But before the pine tree could begin its story, a family came tromping through the snow, searching the forest carefully.
We'll never find a good one. Look. Look.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's beautiful.
Such a marvelous shape.
It's getting so crispy.
Help it up. Help up the lucky. I can just see Hanukkah dinner now. We'll have a topping of sour cream and applesauce.
And jam.
But we will have to reheat it in oil. I'm sorry to say that. But it's something we always do so we can rededicate the triumph of the Maccabees over Antiochus and all that hiding in the caves that they had to do. Okay, let's take the Latkey home.
Why'd I bring this axe?
The family strolled back to the village, walking past all the cottages with flashing colored lights and smiling politely at the candy canes until they reached their own home.
They carried the Laka into their home, which was warm and cozy, lit with flickering candles of the menorah, or the Hanukkah, which is a 9-branched candelabra designed specifically for Hanukkah.
It is very frustrating not to be understood in this world. If you say one thing and keep being told that you mean something else, it can make you want to scream. But somewhere in the world, there is a place for all of us. Whether you are an electric form of decoration, a source of timber, or a potato pancake. On a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcomed somewhere. And the Latka was welcomed into a home full of people who understand just what a Latka is and how it fits into its particular holiday.
And then they ate it.
Shall we give them another round of applause? I'm going to invite you to rise and join me in our closing hymn, number 400, Shalom Haverim. And Anita's going to play it through once, and then we'll sing the Hebrew and then the English after.